Okay, so welcome everyone to this session. In this session, we are going to discuss about one of the most advanced concept in today's world, that is agentic coding, right? How many of you have used any agentic platform, any agentic software to code anything, like used agent to generate code? And which platforms do you use? Can you guys put in chat box? Okay, Windsurf, Claude Code, okay, and Claude Code, anti-gravity. Opus is a model. Opus is not. Okay. So I think most of you guys are aware of it, right? That's great. That's great. So before so have you guys ever wondered how do these coding tools work? Like how are they able to read your repository and they create entire project for you and they're able to do things? Have you guys ever thought about it? If yes, do share. Like do let me know. Like what do you guys think? What do you mean by tools?
I think GitHub Copilot has certain modes, maybe self or a agentic mode. In agentic mode, it uses this kind of stuff like where it is calling, it is gathering the context, then it is doing reading the repos, and it is generating the code.
Okay, so do you think it just to using tools is able to like you can also create an agent with tools, right? Can that replace GitHub Copilot?
Definitely not, but the AI have to maintain the context also. The context is very important. The what task is doing and support if it gets into the infinite loop, then again it has to restart again.
Okay, yeah, great, sure. Context management tools. Okay, so let's come first of all. I hope you guys know about React, right? React loop. How do you guys know about it? So first of all, let's just do a quick walkthrough that what is React loop, and we'll try to understand its limitation, right? And after that, I'm going to first show you what this session, what we're going to do in this session, right? And then I explain through the concept, and then I will walk you through the code. So first of all, let's understand how does an AI agent work. And this is like for like those who do not know, right now everything is that you see any AI agent doesn't matter you create on LangGraph, you create using Claude Code, you create using anything, right? Everything follows a particular thing called as React loop. Okay. Now, how does it work? So basically, it means reasoning and acting. So how does it work is that you have an LLM here, right? What happens that you have an LLM and LLM is connected to various tools, right? So let's say this is your LLM and this LLM is connected to various tools. So let's say, for example, this is your tool one, and similarly you have multiple tools. So what happens that suppose you ask it, you give it a task that fetch me so let me update it. Okay, suppose you give it a task that so this is your entire AI agent right now. If I just club it together, this is called an AI agent, right? All this package together because basically is an AI agent, right? Now, my question to you is that so if you get a question LLM based on the question, it will route the question to the right tool, get the result from it, and give you answer. For example, let us say I give a question that read this email, for example, no, for example, read this document, summarize it, and send email to someone. So what will happen? There will be a tool to read a document. Okay, so it will read that. Then LLM will summarize it, and there'll be another tool to send an email. Then LLM will send request to that. That is how any React loop works, right? It keeps on looping based on whatever user has whatever the task user has given, and it will keep on invoking tools forever, right? Till it completes a task. Is everyone clear with it? I hope this everyone knows this much, right? Now tell me what are the drawbacks of this particular method. Do you think this is a perfect approach, or do you think it has limitations? If it has limitations, what are the potential limitations?
If some tool is failing, then there is no feedback loop to correct that.
No, why they were? If tool is failing, tool will return an error, right? And LLM will read that, and LLM will send back the request, correct request.
Multi-hop reasoning is not that much feasible here.
What is multi?
Multi-hop reasoning means for a single query we have to reason n number of times.
Okay, can you give an example?
For example, there is a complex query where you have to fetch data from n number of tool, be it weather or something other tool also. So at that time, it is not that much feasible calling multiple tools at a time.
It can call multiple tools. So let's say you give it a task where it needs to invoke three parallel tools. It can invoke that. There is any other issue you guys think of? What do you think can be a potential challenge? Like, do you think GitHub Copilots just use this architecture? Or any, I mean, Windsurf or any coding tool that you use, do you think they follow this architecture? Need to provide numerous number of tools to make the agent generic, can kill your tokens, reasoning and act. Okay, so first let's understand what happens, right? Now, if you understand that, have you guys seen it when you chat with ChatGPT after a lot of time? What happens? It takes time. It sometimes summarizes things. It takes time to answer. Or even when you use Claude Code, it does a compact thing, right? So what happens there in the backend? First of all, let's understand that whenever you have a so this is the context window of any LLM, right? Every LLM, you guys know, has a context window. So let's say, for example, let's say there is 1 million token or 100K token for this, for an example right now. So context window. What is the meaning of context window?
So at once, how many tokens it can process?
At once, how many tokens can it process? Okay. Now let us say, assume for this scenario, hypothetically, I'm taking this number, 100K is the context window. Okay. Now, what will happen? Let's say user starts chatting with it. So what will happen? User will send a request message one, right? That he'll send. Uh, so user message one. Okay. Now what will happen? User will send a message one. Then AI will, what will, let's say user sends that read this text and send an email, something like that, right? So what will happen? AI will give a response. What AI will say, okay, make tool call one, right? Then what will happen? This request will go to tool call one and it will give you a result. So tool call one result, tool call one result, correct? Similarly, multiple tools will keep on going. And let us say, then you will have tool call, you have AI, it will say tool call two. Then you will have, for example, tool call two result, tool call two result, and then you will have your final answer that AI will give you AI answer, right? That, okay, I read your text and I have sent the email, right? So what is happening after every chat? What do you see? Like this message is increasing, right? So it is increase, like the context window starts filling over the time. As the more you chat, the more context window starts filling in. Yes or no?
True.
So to cover that, what do we generally do?
We could reiterate all of the things we have covered in a maybe concise prompt. So far, we covered this, and
So what do we do? A current solution that we take is that what you will do, you will do a summarization of certain number of messages and rest you will keep as it. So technically what happens is that you will, let's say I'll take this all, I'll move it here. right now what happens that you take all this, you summarize last k message. So for example, let's say you will only keep, now let's say user message 3 comes, right? So what you will say, user message 3. And before that, you will keep a summary of previous chat. And what will happen? The context window will get free. So now this particular thing will go to LLM, the user new message and the previous chat, that this is the previous summary and this is the new user question. Now can you answer this? So what will happen as your context window starts filling in more and more, right? A threshold point will come that when you will trigger the summarization, and this way what will happen? You will never cross the context window, right? This is the approach that we currently follow. Do you guys agree? Yes, any question, any doubt in this?
It is like we call it conversational summer window buffer memory, right?
Yes,
It is the same thing.
yeah, buffer memory. So what happens that old chats, they start getting summarized because they contain lot of information. For example, you don't need a tool called result, but if you have an answer that summarizes it, right? So what you do, the previous chat you keep on reducing, and what happens that you have the context window free so that you can chat with it. And this is what happens when you chat with ChatGPT or in Claude Code. There is a command /compact. What does it do? It goes and it automatically clears. So for example, if I show you here, let's say this is Claude Code, right? So there is a command called /compact. So what does it do? It will automatically start summarizing the previous because I am using the context window in a single thing. Okay. So now let's come to the diagram. Now tell me, what is this? Does this solve everything in your opinion? What do you think?
Not really, because while keep on chatting in the previous, we may have taken different approaches, and then some of them are not valid anymore to carry forward.
Correct. Anyone and any other answer to this?
We will lose the nuances actually. I mean, if we
So
continue
what?
with this.
Okay. Right. So let's start understanding this. First of all, what are the limitations of this React, right? And then I will come to what exactly Ralph loop is and what does it solve. Okay. So let me start with the presentation. Okay. So again, I'll come to Ralph loop later on. First of all, let's understand why does React loop fail, right? So there are 7 fundamental problems with React loop that you need to understand. The first is the context rot. So what is context rot? That as your conversation history grows, the attention to early instructions degrade linearly. Think like this: when you started chatting, like those who vibe code, they would have faced this a lot. Even with when you do with ChatGPT, let's say you told it something at very start, right? For example, let's say you're coding, you say that, okay, before creating anything, always activate the virtual environment. And let us say after 4 or 5 iterations, it will forget that and it will try to execute the code on its own without activating the virtual environment. So the code throws error. Similarly, suppose you have given some code setting, some instruction, which is 6 to 7 chart older, right? So what happens? Your context over the time starts decreasing. So if you see that, imagine what happens in early iteration 1, 2, it has 100% context. It knows everything. By the time you're doing iteration 3 or 4, your context, like, it will start forgetting. Okay. And iteration 5 or 6, more hallucination will happen, and by iteration 7 it might have forgotten everything that you have given, right? So this is basically the problem with current React loop, that okay, yes, we do summarization, I'm not saying that, but think like, when you are doing a very small task which involves 2 to 3 iterations, that is fine. But think like, I give a task to an agent that create a replica of ChatGPT for me. Is this a 3 4 step task or multitask? More than that? Guys, you need
Multitask.
to interact if you are in the session, otherwise.
Multitask.
More than
It's a
that.
multitask, right? It cannot be one task. Like if I say create replica of ChatGPT, you have to go deep dive. Okay, what all things you need to first study what is ChatGPT, what is its software architecture, everything, right? Then you need to plan it, code different sections. So it's not just one or two things, right? It's like more than 200, 300 steps. So what will happen in those scenarios? You need to maintain a single source of truth that okay, I need to have this context always there so that agent never forgets it. So that is the biggest problem here, the context rot. Okay. Now second, compound error. What happens that at every step it starts losing. Let's say assume even if it starts losing 1%, right? Oh, after 100 steps it will lose so much of information. A very famous example is, if you guys know this Gemini 2.5, it invented a particular class base writer, right? It was nowhere existing in the system. And when people started vibe coding, it automatically gave that to people's code, and that started throwing error. Then people had to go and fix it, like ask some other model and fix it, right? So this is the problem of cascading, that over iteration the things stop like going down. Now third thing, very very important, when you do vibe coding, right? You, let's say you say that build an application for me and it will create a code. How sure are you that the code is correct? Can you uh, like without any doubt, without any I mean with full trust, can you take that code and ship in production, or can you give it to someone that okay, this code is working, I have just vibe coded it, I gave a very very good prompt to the Claude or any other model, it generated this code for me? Is it can you with guarantee say that your code is correct?
No,
No.
human intervention is needed for that.
Right. So what happens, lot of human intervention is needed because you need to break it in different steps, and you need to ensure that every step is working, then only you will give. That is the biggest problem with the code that AI generates. Even if Claude Code is there, which is the like most powerful agent, it also makes a lot of errors, right? So this particular thing, that currently what happens, only approximately 25 to 30% codes actually work fully functional, right? But when you use Ralph loop, right, it is close to 100%. If not 100, at least 95% it is there. Okay, so because what it does, it not only creates the code, it tests the code as well. And if the code is giving error, it will fix it and then it will run the again. So that loop goes on. Okay. So the code that is generated through Ralph loop, which we will study, is more reliable, more like you can ship with like confidence. That is the thing. Now, again, very, very important thing. People who start vibe coding like from on day one, they will say, okay, create a chatbot, create an AI chatbot for me, which does this thing. Is it the right way to vibe code?
No.
No, definitely
No,
not.
no.
So what should be the right way to vibe code?
Going
Start with
model
the
by model.
fundamentals. There is some fundamentals about software development, solid principles, understanding them.
So,
Divide
for
into
example,
phases.
let's say you ask a Claude to create a Power BI dashboard. Okay. If you just give a Power BI dashboard, will it create for you?
No. It won't.
It might not, right? The reason is that these things are very complex. Like it's not just one statement. Every statement involves, for example, let us say I call it that create a fast API. For that, what all thing needs to be done? First of all, a folder needs to be created. Inside that, requirement txt file needs to be installed. Packages need to be installed. Then a code needs to be written. Code needs to be tested. Then code needs to be published. Then there you will go and check whether the API is responding or not, right? Even a simple task like creating a fast API involves at least 6 to 7 steps. So this problem of one shooting, that where people go and just give the command that okay, just wipe code it, that okay, just create a backend on fast API, front end on React, and build it for me. That will never give you a perfect solution. You always need to break things, and to break things, you need to know what all things exist in the backend. So that's why the software engineering part of knowing the backend is very very important. So a full app spec, basically you need to have a full prompt. Like if you guys remember, I covered in two or three class before, when I was teaching you vibe coding, I think in last week only, right? In drag class, I told you that that you take a prompt, you first pass to ChatGPT to structure it accordingly, then you take that prompt and then you pass to Claude Code. That gives you better result, right? So that is something you need to know. One shotting is not never a solution. Again, another thing, no persistent memory, because what happens that there's no centralized memory for all this. Now token cost explosion also there, because what is happening every time you are loading your context window with same text increasing. So what generally takes $45, it can take up to $45 through Ralph loop. You can not one but at least like around what I have built, it takes $4 to run in one go. Okay. And if I build using React loop, it will take easily $20 to $25. So that is the difference which you see. Okay. Uh, Again, as I mentioned, no verification. And when you do the React loop, there's no verification. It just you assume that things are correct. Okay. So these are the basic major reasons that you need to understand why React loop fails. And we need a system when we say that we want to create softwares that can totally wipe out coding. That if we, like we see that people say that softwares coding is not required. AI can do coding for you. You need to understand the architecture, right? But you need to understand that how will AI code for you? You need to create a right architecture, right solution, because AI is not. AI is governed by what you built in the pipeline. So that pipeline needs to be built by you only as AI engineers. That uh, how can you create such a sophisticated pipeline that agent never fails, or mostly give you the correct code, and it is easy to ship in production, right? So this is what Ralph loop solves. Any question before I move to it?
In conversation history, how threshold works, can you help me to understand? I couldn't able to process the threshold. How does it work into the summarization and conversation history?
Which threshold?
You mentioned something like there should be a threshold. If it pass or something, then it
I just said that what will happen, you have this context window of 100K tokens. When you start chatting, the moment your overall tokens context window grows over 100K, you need to trigger summarization. That's what I said, that when your total sum of tokens in your context window reaches, let's say 95K or 100K, you need to trigger summarization. So that's what I said as threshold. So you need to set a threshold
Okay.
for number of tokens in the current context window. If they are greater than 90K, or let's say when they reach 90K, you will trigger summarization. So that is what it is.
Yeah. So hi Satvik, Saket here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that presentation that you're explaining the difference between this React reasoning plus action and Ralph automation
Yeah.
loop. So I really appreciate it. But I mean, I have a question here. So I mean, if you see in anti-gravity or cursor, right? So I mean, even in there, actually, whenever we do wipe coding, right? So
Yeah.
whenever this one model quota gets over, right? So it switches automatically switches the model, and also the context continues from there also.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so is it this if I follow this
But
Ralph
there
loop?
also it follows React loop. If you see, it is maintaining a context window, a memory somewhere from where it is reading, something like that, right? A context window is still
Okay.
there, even if switches the model, right? What do you do that? Okay, once let's say, once I've hit the 80% of my quota, I will switch to a lower model. That's what we do there. So
Yeah.
that
So then, okay, at that time, I think the quality gets
the
degraded, right?
quality
When
gets degraded, but you still follow this architecture where you are putting everything in a context window, and
Mhm.
putting all the entire conversation, right, current, present, old, whatever it is, in a single window, and you are trying to basically pass that to LLM and get answer. So what is happening? With first you will send this, second you will send a broader, third even broader, fourth even broader, right? So, and you expect LLM to understand all that. So that is not the correct approach. So even right
Okay.
now, whatever vibe coding tools that you use, be it Claude Code, and if you just use them directly, they are still not enough. Now, so basically what I'm trying to achieve here, first of all, understand, if your task is just you want to vibe code, fix it, and push it, it's perfect for you. You don't need to go into the Ralph loop. Ralph loop is basically that you set something, you say that, okay, do this for me, and the agent it will keep on running forever till that task is completed. It will automatically test it just like a human, that it will automatically test things. If they fail, it will correct them and it will do for you. It might take 1 hour, it might take 2 hours, depending upon the task that you have given. So
So if this, Ralph loop is implemented, so can we connect this, in this agentic AI tools, cursor vibe coding tools and all?
yeah, I'll show you. I have done that. Okay.
Okay, sorry. You can continue. Thanks.
Right. So right now, the agent that you see, if you use any agent, they are not built for long harness. Basically, so there is an article I will share with you, effective harness for long running agents, right? So right now, the agent that you see, they are not long running agent. They are like, okay, you give them a task, they will do a task, and then they will stop. Then you have to give them a task again. What I want is an agent which is capable of replacing a human and which can actually code thing end to end. Okay, that is again, I don't want to replace a human. What I mean to say is that it can automatically handle things, fail like a human, fail, learn, and implement. That is the objective of Ralph loop. Okay, any question?
Got it, Satvik. Thank you.
So first, let me show you what we are going to build today. Okay, again, I'm not going to do code from scratch. I'll give a code walkthrough. So yeah, that plan thing I'll come to. So first of all, what is going to happen, that this is my terminal. I will invoke an agent here. So let me first show you what is going to come. Where is it? Yeah. So this is the Ralph loop. Basically, I will execute this. So this is built over Claude Code, right? Right now, forget about the coding. What I'm trying to say, I'm going to give it an instruction from here. Where is it? Yeah. So this is an appspec.txt. This is basically the prompt that you have to give to the right prompt that you have to give to any agent, any Claude Code, or any kind of like agent. I'll tell you how to write this. Okay. This is called spec driven development. So if you go, there is a library called as OpenSpec in market right now. So what people are saying that if you want agent to build things right, you have to give it correct information, correct plan. You just cannot give one shot prompt and expect it to do everything. So I'll be walking you through this appspec.txt. So this will be the input to the agent. When I will give this input to the agent, what is going to happen? So let me show you. So I have given it a task that what you have to do, a professional AI chatbot with a fast API streaming backend and a React frontend. The backend uses Claude SDK for real LLM responses, and the front end renders Markdown. So I just gave this particular task, and rest are configurations that I have given. So this is the task that I have given to the agent. Now see what did it do? So first of all, if you see, the Ralph loop starts from here. Now what it will do, it will read. So again, technically I will go little later. It will first of all initialize. It will create a folder here. So if you come here, it will create a folder inside this generations, a demo chatbot. Okay. So yeah, it will create this particular folder here. And then it will copy all the, for example, it will invoke all the libraries, whatever things are required. This initializer thing will do that. Okay. After that, it will start coding for you. So it will start coding for you from this, but yeah, I think it has started coding here from here only. Session complete. Now, so yeah, then it generates. Yeah. So from here, it starts coding and it will do a lot of things. I'll give you a detailed walkthrough later on, but let me first explain you. So it will do all the coding, everything. Then it will, for example, it will create a fast API backend. Then it will test it as well. After that, it will create a front end. It will test that as well. Now, things are not finished here. What it will also do, it will automatically open the application on your system. It will check, it will take screenshots. So if you see, it will take screenshots of your application, that whatever you have built. For example, first it will check the welcome page, whether it is coming right or not. If it is not coming right, it will prompt back that, oh, some issue is there, so that you can fix it. Then it will go to this fast API page. It will see that whether all APIs are populating. It will automatically click on this and test whether the API is working or not. Similarly, it will try to test a conversation here that, okay, I see that UI is there, but it isn't responding. It will type a message, what is the capital of France? the agent will reply. Then it will say, okay, it replies to one text. Then it will further do another test. Similarly, you can create those tests on your. My objective is to show you that the agent will not only generate code, it will test it uh, from the backend. After that, it will test from the UI as well. Okay, that whether things are working or not. Take the screenshot. Once it has done all that, what is it going to do? That it is going to, so it will iterate over different things. So once it has done all those things, it will automatically push the code to GitHub. So see, it is taking screenshots. When the screenshots are verified, it will say all the features complete, now push to GitHub, and it will automatically push. So see this GitHub repository that I'm showing you. Yeah, so I didn't create anything of it. The agent automatically created it, automatically took screenshots, added to the readme.md file, and added all these steps that you need to do. And like, this is the code backend. You simply go, you can execute things from here. And now this code is more reliable because this code is not only created, it has been tested as well. Okay, so this is what the objective of this particular project that we are going to learn today. Any question? So end to end, this is like at no place. I'll run the application in front of you as well. At no place there was a human intervention. It did everything on its own. Okay. But before that, I'll walk you through what is Ralph. Right, we'll understand the concept and then we will come to the code. Any question?
So is this doing with git commits also? I mean,
Yeah,
git commit and git push?
it is automatically committing, automatically pushing.
Okay.
To simplify it, can we say that here the Ralph loop is doing two perspective of two things, means it is acting like a software developer, at the same time it is acting like a software tester also, who will evaluate
Yes.
the same, and once it's satisfied, it
It's
will push
actually
the
solving
data.
your entire SDLC pipeline. Okay. What is in SDLC pipeline? A developer will build, a tester will test, right? And DevOps person will push. So what happens? A software person builds it, then test. Before testing, do you push the code to GitHub?
No.
No, right? So first build, then test. If fail, then again build, then test. The loop will keep on going on. Once the test approves, then it will go to push to GitHub. Okay. Similarly, you can add more complex pipelines as well.
Okay, understood.
Okay. Any other question?
And how is the context we were discussing back then?
I'll come to that. I'll come to that. That is the concept of Ralph. I'll come to that. How is it working?
Sure.
Any other question before I move to the architecture of Ralph loop?
So for Git, we have to create a PR. How it will be integrated? Can you just show or explain?
You need to create a GitHub token here from here, your account, and you need to put in .env. So it will automatically push to. It's basically a fast API. It's basically a REST API request, right? So it will send a request with your token. So it will mean that, okay, this particular repo is going to your account only.
Satvik, one question here. How is it able to run all of that? Because it's all like core Python programming without.
It does not matter if it's Python programming. It can run anything. Python is just an example.
Okay, what I mean to say is some closed platforms like I work in Databricks, but we can't do Databricks like a free source programming. So that's why I'm asking, can this loop system be applied to any
It can be
kind of
applied to anything. In anything that exists in form of code can be applied through this. Databricks also exists as an SDK, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's available.
Right.
Yes.
So if its SDK is available, then you can build through this.
Okay, understood.
So how is this spec file approach different from the skills, like different skills approach that is generally followed nowadays?
I'll come to that.
Okay.
Let me begin. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to first understand the Ralph architecture. Then of course it's skills and prompts, how it is different from prompt engineering, all those things we'll understand. Okay. So let me open the PPT. Now, this whole thing is actually very easy. If you try to understand, it's very easy. The whole concept of Ralph loop. So, in very simple terms, what is a Ralph loop? Like I have this example as well. Where is it? Okay. So this is the GitHub of Ralph loop. Okay. So what does it say? It's an autonomous agent loop that runs AI coding tools, anything, AMP or Claude Code repeatedly until all PRD means product requirement document, items are complete. Each iteration is a fresh instance with a clean context. Memory persists via Git. So, okay, let's come to the PPT. I'll explain you why that then. So what does Ralph do? First of all, it's a very simple for loop. Those who know for loop, what does for loop do? Or a while loop, basically. What does it do?
Yeah, iterates
Until the
instructions. Yeah.
You write a condition while true, and then you write a loop till the condition while true is satisfied. It keeps on running that, right? So the purest form of Ralph loop is this only. What does it mean? While do. So basically, while something is true, copy a prompt, which I'll show you, copy a prompt and integrate it into the agent, whatever agent. It could be a Claude Code, it could be a LangGraph agent, it could be any kind of agent, right? So take a prompt, put in the agent, and then done with it. That is the simplest idea. So, but what happens that this loop keeps on iterating. So every time the agent restarts, agent never, basically, I would say agent never starts from a previous memory. It always starts fresh. So think like how does Ralph loop works is that you give it a task. Let's say I give you a task that copy this email, read this document, summarize it, and send an email to this person. Okay. Now, what Ralph loop is going to do, it is going to break first of all in 3 steps. First is reading, then is summarizing, then is emailing. These are 3 different tasks. Generally, what do we do in React loop? If there are 3 different tasks, they all go in a single session and it basically keeps on looping, right, with the same context memory. But what happens in Ralph loop is that every time you start a new agent instance, you don't start with, you start with a fresh memory. So what, like, do you guys get it? I'll explain it through diagram as well, but do you guys get it so far?
Okay, so here basically we are sort of replacing the memory thing with new prompts. I mean, new. That's what we are doing, right? I mean.
So technically what we are doing, let me explain you in very simple terms. So let's come here. So let's say this is my, yeah, please follow this part very carefully, guys. I mean, very thoroughly. So what happens, let's say you are given a task. So task is, let's say, read document. Okay. And then summarize it. And then you have basically email. So let's say someone sent you this, but they didn't break it. They just said that, okay, read the document, summarize and email, something like that they give. So what will happen? That you will maintain couple of files. One is called a PRD. File name can be anything. Basically, it's a product requirement document. You will say product requirement document. Okay. What it will contain the details about a particular project, that what do you exactly want to build. Think like this, in companies you have sprint, right? In every sprint you get your stories. So a sprint has a lot of backlogs, right? And what do? You break the backlogs into different stories. Yes or no?
Yes.
So it is the same thing. Thing like this, a product manager will come or a business analyst will come. They will give you a thing on Confluence page that this is the product requirement document that I need to build these features in my application, for example. So what will happen? All this will be present in your PRD, right? Now you can name it anything. So where did it go? In your folder, you will create something like as app spec. So this app spec that you were mentioning, right? I was showing you is basically this product requirement document, which contains detailed thing that what exactly needs to be built, how it needs to be built, what all models need to be there, all the technical configuration, business configuration need to be there. For example, if you try to read this, it says build a fully functional clone of Claude AI, Anthropic's conversational AI interface. Okay. And then you give them a tech stack, then you give them a front end, then you give them a back end, and then you give prerequisites, then you give them core features. So this is your universal truth that I need to build. So technically, this is basically your universal truth that I need to build. Universal truth. Clear so far?
Yes.
Now this is where your agent will be work. So this is your agent basically. Okay, it could be a Claude Code, anything, it will be there, right? You will, that does not matter much. Okay, now this is your agent. Now this file will be maintained here. Another file needs to be maintained that will be called, if I show you here, is called features, or you can, I mean, generally we call it this, you can call it story feature, anything that you want. So apps, this is a coding prompt, and you have this, no, so you will maintain, let me come to the VS Code. Yeah, you will maintain this as progress.txt, and you'll maintain something called as feature.json. I'll explain you what do they mean. So you will maintain something called as feature.json, and you will also maintain a file called as progress.md. It could be an MD, it could be a Word file, anything. Progress.md. Okay. So what does feature contain? Now, feature basically is, you can think of like this is your stories. This is your whole backlog technically, that I need to build these three features combined. So this basically is your backlog. Now, what is feature? What will happen? You will say, okay, my one feature is read the document. My one feature is summarize. My one feature is email. Correct? Or if I think on a broader level view, I'll say I have to build an application. So so first feature would be to build backend, right? Second feature will be to build front end. And third feature will be to test it. Okay. So basically, these are three different stories. One person will build the backend. Once that story is completed, you will build the front end, then you will build the test. So that is what is happening here. If you try to see, this feature.json will contain these things, and it will contain them in detail. So for example, if I come to my code, I'll show you that this is my feature list.json. So what does it contain? Whatever you provide in spec, the agent first of all breaks it into this. So first is the first category is backend. This could be anything, like it could even break down the backend also into multiple steps. It's up to agent how you want to do it. So it will say the first thing that I need to build is backend, and its description is fast API backend with SSE streaming using Claude SDK and whatever it is. Okay. Now, in this also there are multiple steps, because this is a very broader task, right? You cannot say that just, okay, build this. So what agent will do, it will create further steps that, okay, first of all, create a directory, that is a folder, then read this particular file for how to use any SDK or any this is where you will use your skills as well. Then create this file, then create APIs, then create this, then use UV to basically run and test things, and verify with UV this particular thing, that whether things is running or wrong. And then this passes means that if your feature has been built and it has been verified, if all these things are completed, then you will set it as true. Otherwise, it will be by default it will be false. So this is your basically first story. Similarly, you have another story on front end. Each story will contain subtask, right? If you guys try to read with Confluence, in Confluence you have story. So this is your story, and these are your subtasks basically. So it will be split into multiple subtasks, and this is also that. So this will be, so whenever agent reads this, it will automatically create this file first, feature.json, and this passes is very, very important, because it tells agent whether something is built or not. Okay, so any question in this part?
So agent automatically is building this JSON file after reading this
Yeah,
app
agent will
underscore
read
spec
this.
dot
Agent will read this and build this. You need to give it a so it will
input.
build. Yeah, you need to give it a prompt basically. So if you come here, Yeah. So you need to give it an initializer prompt, basically. Again, I'll come to that later, but this is what it does, that in the backend, it creates this file. First of all, it will create a, where did it go? Feature list.json. The objective of this particular file is that create a file where you track what all task is there and what all needs to be done, and what has been done and what not has been done. Clear?
So what exactly are we giving? We are giving the app spec file.
We are giving app spec to it. This is the input to the agent, and it will
And this
first
is the first thing that it will generate feature.
Yeah, it is the first thing that it will generate, called feature list.json. Okay. And after this, it will also create a file called as progress. Now, what is progress? That at every step, what will happen? Let's say while doing this step, agent will do something. It might fail. It might have done something. So once the step is completed, it has to update in a progress file that, okay, the session was one initializer where I created this, I didn't write any code, and next task is this. So it will only give, so all this will be blank initially. Okay, all this will not be there after step 1. Once it executes step 2, it will add this part as well. So technically, after doing every step, it will update what it has done. Okay, so this particular is basically your universal truth. This is a universal truth, what needs to be built. This is a list of all the tasks that needs to be done and a kind of tracker for you. And this is basically that a progress, like what things have been done till now, so that you can agent can compare this file and can compare this to see what is my next task. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop on a screen, and I want you guys to read something. Okay. So this is basically the Ralph loop.
Satvik, may I ask one question? It may be dumb. So while it's processing the functional, the requirements and going through and itself populating whether it completed or not, is it possible it will break at any point, or it will forget what it was working on?
It will not break. It will not break. That is the beauty of it. I'll explain when it comes.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So in short, this is how Ralph loop works. Please just read it once and tell me what do you guys understand. I'll explain after that.
Number 8, loop repeats until done is until it has gone through all the requirements, is it?
Until it has completed all the requirements, yes.
I have a question, Satvik. Means all this, what this is doing, it depends upon the documentation that is generated. It suppose it misses some of the important aspects in the documentation, and it realizes that suppose I have missed this. So can it change while doing some
It cannot
stuff?
change, right? That document needs to be your input. Okay. So it cannot know. Think like you have to build something. How will agent know that this needs to be built? If you don't
No,
give
that feature part I'm asking, that suppose the JSON files that my model is doing, suppose it misses some of the steps. So while building some
yeah, so
product.
it will, remember, it will always have this to compare with the truth. So see, there are 3 files. One is that universal truth, that this is what needs to be done. I have to build an AI. I have to build an AI application with this, like, right? So with this, it will build feature list. So it can always compare if it is missing anything.
Okay, got it.
And if the app spec file maybe goes out of context, then it will be broken into different.
It will broken into steps. So that is also what happens. That think like this. So now this is the main point where it does not feel like a React loop. That at every step, a new instance of agent spins up. So right now, just for this demo, actually what I have done, I have split it all this in single step. Okay. Generally, it will not happen that. What it will do, it will take these two in one step, take these two in further next step, take these two in next step. It will further split them. Just for the demo, so that things run on time, I have taken in a compact size, but it will break only that much so that it can manage the context. It will not
But does
go.
it, sorry, sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but does it automatically do it, or that instruction also needs to be given in the app spec.txt file?
No, that it will automatically do. So see,
Okay.
from this, it will read what needs to be built. This feature list and this whatever has been done, these are something
Mhm.
agent will automatically manipulate depending upon its status. So thing like this,
Got it.
suppose it started working on this and it got out of context. What it will do,
Hmm.
it will drop all this, it will update this feature list and then take the task as next. So
Got it.
instead of
Got
3,
it.
there are 4 pointers will come here.
Yeah. So
This is just
whatever, I mean, it all depends on the complication of that particular task. Even like, for example, if even a single step is too complex for the agent, it will break each
it will,
step maybe into
yes, it will break each step into further step.
like further step. Okay.
So
Okay.
thing like this, when you start working on something, right? When your manager asks that, okay, Sadik, what do you think is a timeline for this? I'll give, okay, I'll take 1 week to complete this. That time, because I think I can do it. But the time I reach, let's say Thursday or Friday, I'll see that, okay, no, I think I might need extra time. So I'll request my manager, right, that I need more time. This is what it will happen. This is just an initial plan. Okay. Now you need to actually prompt it as, I mean, for better, so that agent does not get lost. You can prompt as well that if at any point of time you feel you're going out of context window, split the task, right? If you provide this a prompt, it will become even more dependable, I would say. Otherwise, it will do automatically. But if you provide it, it becomes even better.
Satvik, I just to confirm one thing that can we say it like this as well that this we are terming it as something like we have given it a term, but can we say it is a React like it is an agent only. We have just smartly like enhanced that to do our task in a very efficient way, but it is we are giving a tool only, like we are using LLM and we are giving it a tool. It's just we have uh, given it in a such a way that
What we are
there is no
changing,
chance
see
of
that
failure.
LLM tool concept does not change, right? That is agent. That does not change. What changes is this conversational memory. Earlier, we were doing all the tasks with single mind, with single session memory. Right now, we are not doing that. We are creating different sessions for different tasks. This LLM and tool is still there. You will take LLM. This is still there. But what you are doing now, you are running it in different session. That okay, for task 1, I will run a separate 100K token session. Task 2, I'll run a separate. Task 3, I will run separate. So what will happen? Each task will basically be independent of each other, and it will never go out of memory. It will generate better answers. So that is why we say it will never go out of memory. It will keep on running, keep on running.
And how are we exactly ensuring this thing? Like
What?
task one has a different context.
That is the loop, right? That is the loop that we are writing here. If I come here, the Ralph loop implementation, let me show you the simple one. The code one that I am having is a little bit complicated. So it is, where is the GitHub for this? A second, let me show you.
So Satvik, I guess the question is like when we are giving user prompt, it's one
Yeah,
session. We are keep on talking back and forth. Here we are not talking back and forth. We're given it entirely.
we
It's
have given it,
independently working by itself.
yes, it is independently working by itself. So it's not like dependent on you. So let me just show you the
Yeah,
command.
basically, in itself, it is breaking down its own task
Yes,
accordingly how it can perform, and then seeing like how it will execute those tasks, and then verify it
yeah,
as well, and then move to the next one.
right. So basically, this is the command, right? What you're saying that if you see while do, take a prompt and put into the agent. This loop is, so what happens? This is for each step. So for when first step gets executed, this particular loop gets closed and then it will start running again. So what happens? It spins up the new agent with a fresh memory. Do you get my point?
Okay, so basically, what are the things the next session, retaining from the first session?
Yeah, so next session will come. I'll come to that. What will happen? That first session will do its work. So technically think like this. Now, next session is starting scratch. It does not know anything about the previous session. So what is going to happen is, where did the X go? Yeah. So what happens, first of all, let's understand this. Basically, it's a loop, right? What it will do, it will prompt into agent. Agent picks up the next story from the PRD. It will implement it. It will check it and commit and marks the story done and whatever logging needs to be done, right? Once it has done the task, what it is doing two things. First of all, it is making a commit. So from that point, it made the git commit, right? Second, it updates the progress file that whatever did it learn. And third, it will update the task.status. Now, when the next agent will, basically next instance of agent will come, first of all, what it will do, it will read the git commits. It will read the progress.txt that what this file is, what thing is present in there. From there, it will see, okay, this is the task and this has been done and this is left. Okay. And similarly with the PRD as well. So what is going to happen? So this is basically that loop that you guys are talking about, that you'll send a max iteration so that your agent does not keep on running like forever, right? You'll put down that, okay, let it only run 10 times and you'll say starting Ralph and you'll say for each iteration, take the prompt and you will run the agent. So this basically means this only, and then you will close it. So now you see, this is a prompt that you need to provide. So what is the instruction? That read PRD file, read progress, check you are on the current branch, pick the highest priority story. So based on the progress and the PRD, it will pick the highest story which needs to be implemented. Then you say implement that one story, never implement multiple stories, right? Then run type check and test and update basically whatever files are there. And once you're done with the task, commit it, update the PRD, append your learnings to the progress, and then move to the, and basically technically close it. So this is the loop that one instance of agent runs. Just read it once and tell me if you guys understand.
Yeah, when you say, like, for example, when one agent completes its task,
Yeah.
Okay, then it updates the progress and do the commit. When next agent comes, it basically reads the progress and
Yeah, the next agent
and
it does not know anything. But what
yeah,
does it have? It has the previous stored files which contain the latest work.
so basically it will read the progress. It will read maybe the summary of the commits and not the whole commit, because it will also, if it will read all the code in the commit, it will also consume its context,
No, so
right?
it will just read the last commit basically, that whatever has been, or maybe it can read the last few commits. It's up to him. So basically, it reads the last commit. You can prompt it as well that read only the last commit, or it
Okay.
can. It's up to basically agent. How does it want to think like this? The
Okay.
previous agent made 3 commits by mistake, right? So you cannot specifically say that read only 1 commit. It will just do a recheck that what all things have been done, because in every commit you will put a message, right? That this commit is for this. It can
Right. So
compare that commit with the progress task, that which commit is used for what.
kind of it will go through the description of that
Yeah,
commit, maybe.
description of the commit, and it will compare. So that's why, because agent is committing here, if you see, agent is committing everything. So agent always makes sure it updates with the right description so that it can read it next time.
Right.
So those GitHub commits are acting like a knowledge transfer kind of thing,
It's
that the work
kind of
is
knowledge transfer. Yes, that whatever has been done, basically, it's just like, Ghazni, right? I mean, it did something, now it forgot everything. It does not know. So how will he get to know? He needs to know wherever the latest files it, and he will read them, right? That, okay, this was the file, this task I did. So whatever task has been done, it does not need to do that. So first of all, it will always read the git commits, it will read the progress files, and it will read the task files. From there, it will analyze, okay, what is the highest priority story, and it will mark that as false. By default, it will be false only, and it will start working on it. Once it is done, it will append it to true.
Okay, got it.
Any question, anyone?
Yeah, understood so far. I mean, it's much clearer now. I mean, on a different part, I mean, when a particular session is handling a task, let's say, I mean, then the session can face multiple issues, right? I mean, probably the agent has written a wrong code and then it's fixing its code again, and
Yes.
suddenly in its like journey, it felt that the context is finished, the window is closed. Now what will it do? It will automatically start to split that task into multiple tasks, and then
It will
the
automatically
JSON
split it.
will
It will
change.
automatically split. That is the beauty of it. It will
Okay, so the
automatically.
JSON will change then permanently, right?
Yeah,
For the
that's what I said. It will change the JSON, right? And it can add things maybe. It will not touch things that have been done, but the forward things it can edit, right? It cannot change whatever has been done.
okay.
Otherwise, what
Yeah.
will happen? You'll break the previous implementation, right?
Right, yeah.
So it will move, it will go in a forward manner. It will take things as they come. And so basically this is where your prompting needs to become as well. You need to specify to the agent as well that break the each task is in like as many minute atomic step as possible, right? So that it does not have to, I mean, there's a good prompt for this. I'll share with you so that it always breaks it in the right step only. But yeah, your point is right. Let's say it gets stuck somewhere. I'll show you while running the code, it happens that it gets stuck somewhere. It automatically fixes it. And if the context memory does not like cross it, right, it'll automatically fix it and then move forward. And even if you think, let's say summarization is happening as well in a particular small session, then that summarization is not affecting a lot because that is just for a very small task. Like generally 1 million tokens are there right now. For a small task, 1 million token is very much. It will not get consumed. Let's say there's
Yes.
just a task that you need to create two files and compare the text and see what is the difference. This, even how many iterations it will do, it will never cross 1 million tokens for that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So the steps, that's why the steps have been made atomic so that it does not cross that. But still, it has the capability of understanding. Now, this is your PRD basically, where you will say that whatever task is, what is the priority. You can also add priority passes and additional notes also you can share. So you can add anything here. This format you have to give. So it can, so that it can keep on adding things. Next is the progress, which I just showed you, right? And see, runs up to 25 iteration, like break free. You will not do anything. It will keep on running, keep on running, keep on running. Okay. There are a lot of things that can be added here, like acceptance criteria, but let's not go there. The main thing is that you give it a basic product documentation or basically a backlog. It will automatically from that create a progress file, create a feature file, and start implementing. Any question in this architecture so far?
So this Ralph loop comes under this context engineering concepts only, right?
Yes, it comes in context engineering. So what is this? Now let's go to the PPT again, then we'll go to the demo. So basically it's a technique, not a tool. It basically Ralph is some person. It does not stand for, and it does not have any abbreviation. So what does it say? The core inside is don't fix a degrading context. So if you're lost in a context, don't degrade it, just throw it away, start fresh, and state persists through git, progress, and prd.json. That is the main. If I have to summarize Ralph loop in one, like this is the central thing. So for example, if your LLM gets confused after 5 turns, why fight with it the same context window? Give it a fresh start. The files are the memory and LLM is the worker. So workers come and go. The code base persists. Basically, LLM is just a worker, right? Someone is doing the morning shift, someone is doing the evening shift. But my entire knowledge base remains same, through which anyone can learn and anyone can like start taking work. Just like Git, how do things work in Git, right? What do? Multiple engineers working on a GitHub on a same project, they will create different branches and they will commit it. Next day, the person will come, take pull from the main branch, right, and merge into his code base and then start implementing from there. This is kind of that only, that how Git works. It is implementation of Git only in agentic world, I would say.
Right. I mean, we are reducing significantly the cognitive load, I guess, to a single
Yes.
session.
Yeah, it reduces very much, very much.
Mm.
And the main thing is the accuracy. It achieves a lot of like up to 95% to 100% accuracy, because the strength, like the thing like this, if you decide those parameters in the prompt very well and very strictly, either agent will, what will happen, you will set a max number of iteration, that okay, at max I can only allow 10 iteration, you have to resolve in this only or you have to fail. So at max, what will happen? At even if it fails, it will give you a very good code. Might not be the perfect code, but the quality will be very good. Let's say 70%, 80%, right? And if it finishes before 10, then it's a perfect code. So basically, what is the loop? Spawn the fresh agent, right? Read the state files, pick one task, implement it, commit and log, done and exit. Move to the next. Move to the next. That's how you have to go about it. So these are the basically 5 pillars, as I mentioned. This all I have just walked you through as well. So AFK basically means away from keyboard, and HITL. So means human in the loop. So away from keyboard means this only, that you just gave it a task and you said, okay, do it. I'll check in morning. It should have been done. That is the main objective of Ralph loop, that it runs fully autonomous, no human needed, well-defined PRD. So this is where you come. This is like you need to define things very properly there, very objectively. It should not be subjective, because if you define your PRD very subjectively, that create an API, you have not defined fast API or through other framework, right? It can do anything. So acceptance criteria need to be very well written, and PRD. So I think that is something you can work upon before writing anything, and you can take ChatGPT's help as well to create a good thing. Uh, I'm working in my company on a project where we are automating this part as well. That a user just gives a task that I want to build an agent which searches over companies' databases. So what we have done, we have added an additional agent over it, which will read read whatever you have given. It will compare with internal company documents and ask you some questions back and create the right this particular PRD from there only. So that agent can also be built, and that PRD is basically passed to the coding agent so that it can start building things. So you can cap iteration, as I mentioned, keep 5 to 10 small, because remember Claude Code is very expensive. So just to run one iteration, it cost me around $4 to $5. So don't like throw away your tokens like this. I use right. I mean, generally, if company has given you access, now again, this is not only for Claude Code. You can take a LangGraph agent and build that as well. But the agent or the LLM needs to be very strong. It like low models will not work, because the agent needs to be very good. The LLM needs to be a very good LLM, which is built for coding, first of all. So go with GPT-5 or maybe the latest models of any other, any particular model provider. So use them only. So test also you need to define very properly so that it can. So basically it is best for overnight builds, migrations. Now someone was talking about they need to do data migration from this end to that end, and there is a lot of data. You just set up loop like this, it will automatically read from one source, update the file, move there, check if it has been done or not, like all those things it will do automatically. And if you just want that it does not go out of your control, you will set a limit. You will set that okay, after every task completed, send me an email, so that you can track it as well that it is going right. Okay. Or you can introduce a human in loop if you want. So that is the core thing, that there are two modes with it, AFK and human in the loop. So code I will go through over right now, but yeah, any question so far in the concept?
You said about it's I mean it's frequent usage. You said it can be for overnight build, it can be for migration,
Yeah,
refactors.
yeah.
It's a very good use case for reviews as well, maybe. Like
Reviews like,
I mean doing the review of the whole code
yeah,
in
yeah,
that case
yeah, yeah.
also.
Reviewing of whole code. So where it is not good is exploration. Where you need to
Right.
explore new things, it is not good, because it runs, you don't know what to explore, right? If you knew what to explore, you would have written in PRD, right? So that is where it has to do new things, it is not good. Where it has to just manage things which are existing, it is pretty good. So building PRs, checking PRs, right? Evaluating some work. And it's not only about building agent. You think of like data pipelines, creating reports, and email automation. A lot of things can be done. So this software, you would have heard about OpenClaw, right? How many guys have heard about it?
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
have.
OpenClaw is nothing.
latest.
It is just an implementation of this loop that it sits on your system. Okay, it runs this loop forever. That whenever I'll conduct a session on that as well. That how you can set up OpenClaw securely, totally. You will put it on a cloud. Basically, hostinger you will host there. Will set up security. Will create a VPN tunnel so that no one can access it. But so it is basically an implementation. The OpenClaw, you can create your own model as well after this. Like if you understand how to create Ralph loop, you can create your own OpenClaw or some other version of it basically. So the main thing to understand is that you should not go behind tools, you should go behind the architecture so that you can implement, because in companies, they will not give you access to these tools, right? But if you understand how it is being built, you can build custom implementation, right? So that is the main thing. In like in the company, the project that I'm doing, we are doing an implementation of this only. So like at a broader level, basically to build softwares and test softwares independently. So that is the task I'm working on, but it can be done for a lot of other tasks as well.
Satvik, one quick question. Like here we are exchanging content in the basis of files, not in the basis of
Not in the
memory and
basis
all.
of, not in the basis of,
Memory and
yes, the
yeah.
files Git commits are your memory basically.
Yeah, okay. So suppose I am building a project which is 60 to 70% similar to my last project. Can I provide those code files as a context
Exactly.
to
So there is a thing called as, you can provide that as well. And there's a thing called as GitHub similarity search. What does it do? Yeah, recording will be provided. So so you can provide that repo, and what you can do, you can prompt it that read it, extract the, so there in for example, this one is static part, one is dynamic part. Think like this. Suppose you want to create an agent builder, which can automatically take a request and create a LangGraph agent for people. Now, what you can do is you can set up your entire code for LangGraph, and you will have a configuration file, config.yaml, right? Which will control model name, environment variable names, and all that. Now, you can ask the agent to always read the config based on the user question, update it according to different user. So this way you will generate different instances of LangGraph agent as per the user request.
So we are increasing the power of this Rails agent using this GitHub similarity also. So
Yes.
on the basis of exploration part also, it can try new things then if my static things are I'm already getting it from my previous files.
It can try, but what I'm saying that you need deterministic things, right? When you are exploring something, your idea is not deterministic, right?
Okay, in that way, got it.
So that's what I'm saying. Where does it good at? It's like basically think like this is a worker. Okay, it will like you want to control what it should do, right? You do not want to give it free hand and do anything. So that is if you control the environment around it, it will work perfectly like a robot who is built for you. Got it?
Yeah, and we are controlling on the basis of that PRD file that we are
PRD
giving.
file.
That is our control.
Exactly.
Yes, got it.
Does it make sense, guys? Make sure you understand the concept. Coding implementation is fine. You guys have to go explore, do things on your own, then only you'll understand. But make sure you understand the concept. That how is this different from a standard React loop? What new things it is bringing? So if you have those questions, do ask me, right? So this all I will show you like there only. So how does it work, right? First, just one more thing I will say that okay, this I'll show you through prompt as well. Yeah. So PPT is done. Now I'll show you the implementation. But before that, any question?
Like I'm assuming for the test part, you must be using Playwright MCP.
Yeah. So I'm using Playwright MCP. That's why I opened it here.
Okay.
Where did it go? So this is, you can use this as well. Puppeteer, you can use this as well. So I'm using this one in this particular code, but you can use Playwright as well.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So a very simple agent that you can build: search jobs related to your resume on LinkedIn and automatically apply. this is a perfect example of Ralph loop. You can create that what you need to do is you simply need to connect with LinkedIn APIs and extract your resume, extract job titles. What will happen? The agent will first of all extract potential job titles from you. It will go using the Playwright MCP server. It will search on LinkedIn by that particular role and automatically apply to each role one by one. So there are a lot of implementations of this. So all these work like on this. So if you can build something on this idea, it's very great. Like I'm just giving you an idea how it is built. So yeah. Any question? So we just have like last few minutes. Like I'm just going to give you a demo around it. Again, this is not a full-blown session where I explain you things from scratch. That's why I'm covering a little bit faster. But I will cover this in the agentic course, which like next month. But
I have one question.
yeah,
Like in case we our agent at the back is not that like Claude Code is exceptionally good at also performing, and it's like even
it's not only built for Claude Code. You can use any other agent, but make sure that agent is good one. LLM is good one. Like
yeah,
use an
that
advanced LLM.
yeah, that's my question. That if our agent is only lacking, and then there would be a fail, right? Like
Of course, if your LLM is not, the entire agent depends upon your LLM, right? If your
yeah.
LLM is not good, not built for coding, then doesn't matter whatever architecture you follow, it will fail.
So like for open sources, what else could we use apart from Claude? So that we can make
You
it.
can take maybe I don't think Gemini
Okay.
models are built for coding.
Hmm.
There are, but you can check. I mean, see, you can take them and try them. I will say,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I also don't have an
yeah.
answer right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
I got it. Yeah.
I have seen significant difference between Claude and other models, right? Basically, Claude SDK, not Claude model, Claude agent SDK versus other. So Claude agent SDK is a deep agent. If you guys don't know what is the architecture behind deep agent, I'll cover in a separate class. So it's a deep agent architecture built on a Claude model that makes Claude agent very powerful. If you just use Claude, for example, if you just use the LLM, it will not be as good as Claude agent SDK. That SDK that they have wrapper that they have built around model, it's a deep agent basically that makes it very powerful. Okay, so try that. Now point is Claude Code is model agnostic. Like you have to use Claude model only. But if you what you can do is you can take this deep agent by LangGraph, right? And in that you can provide any model and use that with Ralph loop and see how does it perform. So that you can try.
Okay, so you're saying that if we understand deep agents, we can
Yes.
like we can make our own wrapper for an LLM and use that.
Just deep agent is a library which is built over LangGraph. There you can configure the LLM that you want to use. So you just take deep agent library and provide the model that you want to use. Let's say you want to use llama model. So you just configure that in the deep agent. For example, quick start right here, you can configure the model that you want to use. So it will reply you based on that model. So that architecture of deep agents will still be there. It will be powered by the model that you're using. So that is the thing.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question before I move to the implementation?
Here in Ralph, prompt scripts plays an important role, like few shots, or maybe we have to give the role-based few shots and instructions, like a big script.
Where?
In Ralph, like we have seen the uh, major prompts we have written.
Yeah, so we have written, so basically, let me come to the prompts now. So first, there are two prompts here. One is a coding prompt, one is initializer prompt. So let's understand them first of all. The initializer prompt is basically only for setting up the project. So when you start any project on VS Code, you don't start coding immediately, right? What do? You set up environment, you set up, download everything, right? And you create files and
Packages,
everything.
requirements, yeah.
So that is the part of initializer prompt. So what does it do? Let's read this prompt. It says your initializer create the project scaffold only. You're not coding it. You're just creating the project architecture. Okay. Do not write any code. It will not write. Do not create backend, front end. It will not create. its task is, first of all, it's read the app spec. So read this particular app spec, and from that create a feature list. So and you give it a format that I want this kind of feature list. Okay, this you can modify as per. Suppose you can also add a like I would say you can also add a priority. So here also, if you define that for any task, I would say for any feature, don't have more than 2 steps. So what it will do, it will break your whole app spec into lot of steps, lot of further things. So if I have to show you like this implementation from Anthropic, where they use this, yeah. Progress. Yeah. Okay. So basically, yeah, let's read from here. So they say first read this, then based on app spec, create a file called as feature list with 200 detailed end-to-end test cases. So what they have done, I just gave 3, right? But they have created 200 so that each task becomes very, very small. If you see here, it just 3 steps, 3 steps. And that is what, and you need to specify minimum 200 features total, both functional and style categories, mix of narrow test and comprehensive test, at least 25 tests, order features by priority, all tests start with passes false. So if you see, initially everything is set as false. And it is, so you say it is catastrophic to remove or edit features in future sessions. Features can only be marked as passing so that it does not break things that have been done in the past. That is very, very critical. Now, after that, this is very, very important thing. When your agent is about to close, you will ask it to create a bash script so that the new agent automatically executes it and it will install all the dependencies. But otherwise, what will happen? The new agent will have to, first of all, understand the coding structure. It will have to understand what all dependencies need to be installed. So now what you're saying, you're giving it a bash file that future agents can use quickly to set up and run the development environment. So only the first time you need to install. Next time the agents will simply run this file and it will install all the dependencies, start any necessary servers, and print any information that is required. This is also very, very critical. So the first task is that creating the feature which you provide. Second is creating this bash file. And the third now coming is initialize Git, because whenever you are starting, create a Git repository and make your first commit, because this is where you are starting. In future, if you want to compare what all tasks I did in this particular sprint, you'll have a comparison base, right? So that is where you need to initialize a Git there, then create a project structure, and implementation, you can skip it. Generally, this prompt is not to do coding, and then you will end up before your context fills up. So you see, you write it before your context fills up, commit all the work with descriptive messages, create the progress file, ensure feature is completed and saved, leave the environment in a clean. So whatever additional files it would have created, it will automatically delete it. Now, this is, if you compare this with when you do vibe coding, right? It automatically identifies the file, deletes it. This is the loop that is working in the backend. These are the instructions that are working in the backend. It's not that it just an LLM is a tool. These are the actual instructions which you have to put so that it follows that always. And that is how it is able to explore your code base very faster and able to do clean work. If you miss any of this, what will happen? It will clutter a lot of files, and which you will forget that what this file was. So this is the first thing that you need to set up, that is called as initializer prompt. The objective of this is just to set up the environment for the project. Any question with this?
Can you go to task 2? Can you?
Where?
init.sh. Can you just repeat that point again?
This is just a bash file. What is a bash file?
I'm not sure.
Bash file is basically thing like this. You have to execute a terminal file. What do you do? Suppose, let's say you want to test an agent. Before that, you need to execute in your terminal, right?
Yeah.
So this bash file automatically, where is it? .init. Okay, is here. So this bash file that I create, so this is basically the bash file. This is how it looks. So it will automatically create the project structure, spin up any backend server that is there, so that the new agent can come and start testing, can check if things are correctly in place or not.
Okay, thanks.
Do you get it?
But when we wipe code, we give the repeated prompts. Do you mean to say at the background, it automatically creates these, for our use case, it creates these prompts MD in the background and
No.
repeats over and
When you run this,
or
basically the new agent will come. When the previous agent stopped, new agent has to come and understand this project directory. If you don't use the
yes.
script, what will happen? It will have to explore the whole code base, read every file, and then decide where to go. You are easing this for. Let's read this one by line. This is just print statement. You are saying that, okay, go to the dev, then print this backend files, then screenshots, then basically check the feature list file if it is existing, and then open the feature file, and so that it can read from it. So this is that part only.
So we are giving access of these feature and these particular files only. It's not reading entire
We are
code
making
base.
it easy. If you don't give it, what will happen? Agent will still find it, but it will take him time because the code base is heavy. It will have to read all the files, understand their connections, and then understand, okay, this is the file that I need to understand. If you give this, it will just run this in the next time, and it will be able to understand what all project dependencies are there. So what does it do? Install any required dependencies. Think like this. One agent stopped. It required a 𝗥𝗲 library. The next agent comes. How will it know that 𝗥𝗲 needs to be installed?
Requirements.txt.
Requirement.txt. But so how to get there? It will have to read a lot of files and then decide. So we are easing that step. We are adding install requirement.txt into this particular bash script only. We will add it.
Yeah, basically, we are just like basically for the next agent, we are just creating this kind of summary only so that it doesn't have to burn its context for the whole project again.
Exactly. So that a new agent can pick up from where things were left.
So in the next iteration of the agent, how
Yes.
will it know that I have to look in the init.py, let's say sh. So do we have to pass it in the prompt itself,
You
or
have to pass in the prompt of the agent. Yes.
agent? Okay.
One basic, question I'm probably missing that. Once the session 1 is ending completely,
Yes.
does the environment have to get killed? The
Yes,
next
it has to be killed. So if you see, after every step, I'll write down and leave the environment clean in a working state. So you have to delete, like if it created any rough file, and whatever it created temporarily, it has to close all that. It has to leave as it's like a table, right? You're working before the next employee comes, you have to clear it. So
Yeah,
that's
about the environment. Then probably you don't need to install the same files again and again when the sessions are restarting after one another.
No,
if you can at least keep the environment on.
I didn't get your point.
No, what I'm saying is once session 1 is complete, then
Yes.
session 2 comes and session 2 again installs every single thing from scratch, like on a blank slate kind of. So can you prevent that somehow? If we can.
You can prevent that. It's up to you. So again, now this is a decision at the user's developer's discretion, right? Whether you want to leave it or whether you want the new agent to come and set up things from scratch. That is why you created in the bash script, right? So that agent knows why we created is that so that agent knows what all things I'm installing. So that whenever it appears a task, it can immediately know that, okay, I was missing this thing. Otherwise, what will happen if you don't tell it? Let's say it gets stuck later. It will have to go and check what all packages have been installed, and then it will do a comparison, and then it will install things that are not there. So it will, and anyways, like you're just like helping it there. So it's kind of at your discretion. You can clean it, you can leave it as such, so that next person comes and starts building from it.
Understood. Thanks.
Okay, so this is the initializer prompt, right? The objective. Yeah, please. Sorry, any question, anyone? Okay. The last thing of this is coding prompt. So this was a step 1 initializer where you just set up the project. Now, very, very important, coding agent. How does it work now? Now you'll say you're continuing work on a long running autonomous development task. This is a fresh window. You have no memory of previous sessions. That is the first thing. Now, this is the mandatory command that it has to run, and you need to specify that get your bearings mandate. Basically, get all what things are. First of all, PWD, what is working directory? List all the files to understand the project structure. Read the project specification, the app spec it has to read. Okay, then read the feature list, then read the progress file, then read the git commit. So it is technically reading all these 3 things, and it will compare with this. Count remaining tests. Now it will check based on this information what all things are left and what is my next priority, right? So it will basically use this. You get it? That is a step 1. Now, second, start servers if not running. For example, let's say the previous step had any backend server running and you want to do some testing, you want to run it, right? That's why we created this init.sh files. Okay. Now, mandatory before new work. Now, this is very important as well. The previous session may have introduced bugs. Before implementing anything new, you must run verification test. So before even start implementing, it will check, run 1 to 2 feature tests marked as pass, which are marked as true, and check that they are working correctly. So like by default, it will randomly check anything and just basically kind of cross check that if things are correct place or not. And if you find any issues, you can basically mark that as false and you can take up that later on. And all those things. Then you will choose the one feature that you need to implement the feature, verify with the browser automation like Playwright, which we are using, and then update the feature list and like from passes false to passes true. Never remove test, edit test descriptions, modify blah blah blah, and commit your progress and update the progress. And then you can also add something that push to GitHub, like what I did here. So this is the whole coding prompt. Like these are the major steps in coding prompt. So you need to actually so this is the official implementation, right, from Anthropic that I found it, and I just created my version of it. So because I didn't require everything, so you can play around. Main thing is that whatever is written there, let's say your agent is not performing well. Now thing like this, let's say your this Ralph loop is not working. What do you need to do? You simply need to go and play with these 2 prompts. That's it. And it will basically, you will start seeing its changes, that whether it is working right, incorrect, and all those things. Okay. So now this is done. Now I'm just coming to the implementation. I'll walk you through the implementation, that how does it work. And if anyone has any question, you can ask me. So in this file, this is the Ralph loop where I've implemented this Ralph loop. So like I have these tools. Now to your agent, you need to provide access to read tool, write tool, edit, search, terminal, execution. And then I'm using this particular thing for browser automation to check things on browser. So I created a Ralph loop here and like different components I created. Let me show you the looping part where it is. So this is the looping part, while self iteration is less than max iteration. And then you will like write all those. I'll share the code. You can read it from there, but this is the objective. Okay. So now let's do one thing. Now, first of all, what I have to do, this is a generation. How I have created this is a generation folder. Before creating a new, I need to clear the whatever is created. So what I will do, I'll go to a new terminal, and I'll guys just take whatever time it takes to execute. That is the only time of the session left, right? And once it is, because it takes around 10 minutes, sometimes up to 15 minutes to complete. So I'll be open to questions you can ask. So let me first delete everything. And like do follow that what exactly happening. So right now, if you see, my everything is empty. This is my prompt file. This is my generation. This is empty. This is my prompt file. So you have to put this app spec based on this, a coding prompt and initializer prompt is there. And right now I don't have any project in generation. So see if this is totally empty. So what I will do, I will basically take this command and I will run it. Now read the terminal, we'll read the terminal step by step. Okay. So what should happen when I run it? What do you think? What should happen?
It will
We should
start
first
getting
reading the spec file.
Initialize the.
So let's see. So it will start. First of all, it will start it copied this, copied and it start the initializer, right? I will start by reading the app spec file, then create all the scaffolding file. Guys, please mute if you're not speaking, please. So these all are the tool calls that it is doing. Now it says, good, I have read the app text. Now I will create all the scaffold files. So it will go, it will make the tool execution. Let's click generation. So see, it has started creating this .claude.env appspec.txt, it pasted there. And we'll see, it is going to start running it.
So
see,
I have a question. That terminal usually is not this much interactive. Like,
I made it.
Okay, you made it, yes.
Yeah. So it is, so see, it created this feature list. Now see, this created this feature list. And what did it do? It created this backend feature. It's all the steps marked as false. Then front end marked as false, testing marked as false. And then it also created this progress. So far, because it has only done the session 1, so it only gave the session 1. Now what it has done, it is moving to the iteration 2, build the fast API backend. So it has 3 things: fast API backend, React, and so these 3 are in to-dos basically. So it will step for the feature 1, that is the backend, is create backend, like all those things that were present in feature list. It will put it here. So all these things it will put here. And I will start bootstrapping the project and reading the necessary files. Let me check the actual working directory. Let me check. So, I mean, this is just to show you what it will automatically search based on whatever configuration you have provided. It is installing dependencies on its own. And yeah, those are questions you can ask me. I'll just walk you through whatever steps are happening. So see, right now, this step is false because it is not completed yet. Right? So let it complete it. First of all, create backend. Right now it is creating main.py. So if I come here in the backend folder, main.py, it is empty right now. It is creating. So a code will come soon, very soon here, once it completes it. So see, the code came here. It wrote the entire code. And now it will test the backend. So first kill anything, because backend is running on 8080. First of all, it will kill anything that is running on 8080. And now it will start the server and test the health endpoint, that, okay, is the health endpoint working? So let's see what does it get.
Could you please shift your window a bit up? I mean, it's basically behind my zoom bar. I mean, I can't get rid of it.
I cannot shift it up. Like, this is the maximum I've done actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot go below this actually. This is the lowest I can go to.
No, the whole, it's VS Code or Claude Code. The whole thing, I mean, if you could shift
this thing?
No, not that thing. I mean, the whole window. I mean, the whole software, the software you're using. I mean, just.
This is full screen, right? This is full scale only.
Okay, because of that. Okay, it's okay. I mean,
you have it on your side as well, full screen if you want in Zoom.
Okay. Then the zoom bar goes away. Yeah?
So see, what did it do? It first of all, say, it killed anything on the port. Need to check what is available on Claude. So see, it hallucinated here. It didn't know how does Claude SDK work. So what does it do? Guys, please mute if you're not speaking. It is causing echo. So it says that, okay, this is but not re-exported. So let me restart the server and it automatically fix that issue. Now let me check the server output. The issue is that Claude SDK detects it. So some issue is there. Because of it, generally it gives to you. Now it will handle it automatically. See, it will edit the code, now test again, and see all three endpoints are working. Health point, chat point, and chat stream, all three it tested. Even though some error came here, but it still worked. Now Swagger works also, and what it is doing, mark feature as passing. So what it will do now, if I go to features, now it has changed it to true, and then it will update clean it basically clean up and commit clean things and commit till here. So see, it is committing, and once it now update the progress. So if I come to the progress, right now there is only session 1. Now it is reading, editing. Now it added the progress for session 2, whatever things it did. So now step 8 stop, and now it will pass to a new session which will pick up from here. So let's see what it does. So I think it is stopping. Yeah. So see, first step is done. Feature 1, fast API backend with SSE streaming is done. Now the step is feature 2. So it will take up the feature 2, whatever list were provided in that feature file, and it will start working. Now it is building the front end for this. So I will start bootstrapping the project and reading the necessary files. So see what it is running that init file, feature, Claude progress, app spec, pwd whichever I be prompted here, that you have to like run these commands by default to get to know what is the current state of a project. Now it will build task target, feature 2, build a professional React thing, and it will start building over it. It takes like, it'll take it 3-4 minutes easily. Meanwhile, any question, I'm there to ask. Please read it. Please keep reading this main things so that you understand how it is working. So this loop actually never stops. It keeps on working based on the condition that you have given. So that is the beauty of it. You can leave it for like 24 hours, 100 hours. It will keep on running. Of course, it will consume a lot of money. So you need to be aware of that. So that's why I generally keep an end like that. Okay, stop after this. So now it is in the front end directory, package are installed, and all those things. So let me create all the files. It is creating them in parallel. So you can optimize this step. Right now it is taking a lot of time. You know what you can do? You can take a template of any front end application. You can store somewhere in your file, so that agent directly copies that and just modifies it. So that's reduces a lot of time of agent writing the code from the scratch. So if you have gone through these websites where they give a template and they build over it, they do this only, that they have the entire code base ready and they just update the config file through the agent and you get like different views. So it is still working for the UI. Let's see how long it takes. It won't take more than 2 more minutes, I think, as far as I remember.
Yeah, Satvik, with the recording, would you be also be able to share this code as well, like customizations to the this code that you did?
I'll share.
Okay, thank you.
Not with recording, I will share it tomorrow because I need to move code from this laptop to the laptop. Then I will share.
Okay, yeah, no worries. And maybe I've sent you a message. Would it be possible to add me to the group that you were referring to? I've sent it to you.
Those are not added to group can just text me. I'll add you to the group.
Thank you.
But tell me, guys, tell me your thoughts about this. What do you think about this approach? Like, or whatever you learned, and did you guys understood or not? Or what is your thought? Like, does it make sense? Or what do you think it can have limitations? Or is it better? How is it better? What do you think? I mean, your overall assessment so far.
Overall assessment is we got a fair understanding of the differences between the React and the Ralph Loop approaches.
Yeah.
So that was clear. But one thing with any new thing is what is it gonna cost me in terms of running this if I don't know what I'm doing, right? So that's one question comes up in my mind.
So the first, I'm telling you one thing, it is built for think like this. This is something not you would do for your personal projects because this costs money. You need a very strong model, right? This is who will do a company would do. A company, let's say, is paying, let's talk about in US, let's say they're paying 100K to a developer, right? They might not need to do that. They can get it done at a cheaper cost, maybe $10,000 through Claude Code. So again, the objective is not to replace someone. Main thing is that how to automate coding. Of course, companies will never push, even however good this is, there will still someone be to review, to check before pushing things. But what does this do? It gives you a very good base so that you can focus on architecture. Like your job is right now, right, to mainly what? Mainly write a good this file, app spec,
Requirement. Yep.
right? That, so you need to have a business understanding, you need to have a technical understanding. No, even you prompt ChatGPT cannot write it, because you need to know what things exist in company, what is the right architecture, right? So you need to focus on architecture. You can forget about the coding, it will do. Or even if it gives you a bad, like not perfect code, it will give you decent code which you can take, again prompt and edit it, something like that. So yes, it is expensive. No, not denying that. It is not for your personal project. This is for enterprise projects. Because for companies, using Claude Code does not matter. Like they will give you access.
Hi, Satvik. Saket here again. So it's a really great presentation. So I mean, my question is, so let's say, I mean, whatever you have presented is for, creating a new project, even for the company also, even they have
Yes,
a
yes. So
good
basically,
amount of
this
money.
is a small version of my main project that I'm doing on my company. I
So
was doing
let's
it
say,
last.
now let's say, I mean, I have a code base in my company where it
Just one
has,
second. I'll stop you. Please ask. Just let me show this first, right? So this second
yeah.
also completed. 2 out of 3 feature completed. Now the third part, that is end-to-end testing. Basically, I have put that you have to take 4 screenshots, welcome conversation, and it has to analyze if they are coming well. So we'll see here in generations, there's a folder called as, there should be called as screenshots. Right now it is empty. So it is installing Playwright, and it will start taking screenshots and analyzing them as well. So what it will do, for example, let's say you created a form based application, right? It will go and fill all those forms and check if they're working or not. So you reduce the dependency on, like you basically automate that particular thing. I'll take your question. Just give me a couple of minutes. Let it finish, then I can take. So now what happened? It was testing here. It saw that something was running. So it said, okay, now let me kill any existing process. So now it added first screenshot. Did you see here? So this is the first homepage of my application that it created. And see, this much it is able to do automatically. I didn't like write a single piece of code. Now it added the second test as well, that conversation. And now it added the code block. And now it added the Swagger docs as well. So what did it do? It was able to actually take screenshots. So see, all the screenshots are this red, and because they were good, so it didn't like prompt me back that this is wrong. So the screenshot looked perfect. Now let me create a readme.md. So it will add a readme.md to the repository, and then it will push to the GitHub. So let it happen. So it will add a readme.md file here, that Claude Assistant Professional AI Chatbot. Now it will mark feature 3 as passing. So let's go to this feature 3, which was false. It made it true, right? You just saw. And update progress. So this progress also, it will update session 3. And I think session 4 needs to be added. So it is reading, and now it will just add session 4, that whatever test it did, and it will clear your terminal and everything. And let's see. So third is done also, and now it will just do a quick it just basically does a linting check and few other checks that I've done, that it should not throw any linting tests on 𝗪cube errors, like those things I have put in backend. Now it is pushing to GitHub. So it has put, like it pushed to GitHub right now. So it made these changes. Now let me see. So I'll take this link and I will go to GitHub. Let's see what did it generate. So see, it created this. So it automatically came as author. You can remove that, but see, it added. If you see my previous repo that it created, this one, there it added screenshots like this. Here it added screenshots like one below the. So and that much it can do. Like, I mean, you cannot control that, but so it added everything. Looks a very beautiful repo. Anyone can take it. So thing like this, anyone can take it. They just have to add their API keys. They have to set up this and run it, and things will be running for them, right? So that becomes the entire STLC cycle end to end using Ralph loop. So that's it from my end in today's session, right? Like my idea was to explain you the architecture, not coding. Explain you how does it work and what are the potential things that you can do, and you can do a lot of things from this. Trust me, it's just that you need to explore. And see, it costed me how much? $4.279, just the third step. So total it cost me around $6 for $6 for running the whole pipeline. So use it efficiently, like don't blindly run. So make sure your prompts are proper there, everything is there, then only run it. But yeah, the idea is this: go and explore about it, like read. This is the official Anthropic. I will send you as well on WhatsApp group. You can read this as well. I've just created, I read them and I created my custom implementation. So you can read from them. So yeah, that's it from my end, guys. If you have any question, let me know.
Satvik, one
Yeah.
question. Now you spent, let's say, $5 to build this requirement JSON and everything, and it's ready-made code, right?
Yes.
Ready-made loop in play. Just like code, people put on GitHub. This whole process with the features also people will share so that we can reproduce, modify and reproduce to our own effect.
Sorry, I didn't get the last part.
You put a certain requirement for your bot to enter into this process, and it was
Yes.
generated all the steps and all the testing features. Now if
Yes.
I have to come and reuse this for a slightly different features for a different purpose, do I have to start from the beginning or can I repurpose?
You can repurpose. You just need to update. So this code is right now, the code that I built is not built for that, but you can add it. That read for what you will need. You will do. You will say that this is my previous. For example, in this init, wherever it was, where did the prompt go? Prompts. Yeah, here you will add a step that this was my previous work. Okay, and clone it based on that, and you'll give that, okay, I have to add these features to this, right? So you will add in your app spec and you will say that clone my previous repo, compare what all things are missing, and now create the feature list. So it will create the feature list based on the delta, that what you are asking and what is already present in the GitHub,
Okay. Hmm.
right? So all you need to do is basically play around with this app spec and things before generating the feature list. There only you will play around and it will like do for you.
So
Okay.
Satvik, I want to continue on my previous question I had. So
Yeah.
let's say I have a code base in my company where it has more bugs. Okay. So
Yeah.
there, I mean, let's say, I mean, here I can see using Ralph Loop, you are implementing, a new project based on a requirement. You're just giving a PRD and you're
Yeah.
making the agent to implement a project. So let's say I have a existing code base where
Yeah.
it has full of bugs
Okay.
because if you see last year and all, I mean, people are going ahead and doing vibe coding, but
Yeah.
most of the people in the company that they're not even following the software development principles. They're just blindly
Yes.
going and developing the
Yes.
code bases. They're
Yes.
putting in production, but things are breaking.
Yes.
So now it's becoming messy there. So whenever people are coming there and solving the bugs, I mean, no one can understand it, right, properly.
Yes. Yes.
So let's say if I have the requirement like a PRD document properly,
Yes.
but with the
Yes.
code base, now
Yes.
will it go
It
and
will do.
resolve all these bugs?
Yeah. So see, app spec does not mean you need to have this file only. What does it mean? That you give it a reference, right? Now you can add. So what I'm doing in my company, let me tell you, we created an MCP server, right? in my company, like people are creating different MCP server. My team worked on it, and a standard MCP server we created, which contains all the standard practices in the company. So what we are doing, we're using that as standard. So you can download that repository here, okay? And like there are multiple ways. You can download that repository here, and you can ask an agent to generate the basically the best practices from that particular repo that have been used, and use that as base. That is one thing you can do. Let's say you don't want to do that, you can create your own best practices guide, like guide as well, and ask it to follow that always. So that is something you can do. Do you get
Okay. So, so just, this is my one more, so I have one more question. So, what would you suggest? Rather than solving the bugs in the code which was generated by AI, is it good, or is it
No,
better to
I
start
will
from the scratch?
suggest to define a standard template inside our company. Say that this is how, for example, what error coming to your code, someone else code will have some different errors, right? How will you standardize it? To standardize it, you need to say that these are my best practices. Okay, for any code, let's say I have to put any code, be it data engineering, machine learning, software, AI, ML, anything. They need to have, first of all, this. They need to be set up on UV. They need to have a requirement.txt file. They need to have this project structure. There should be a proper test scenario. Inside test folder, there should be a unit test, of functional test, right? SRC should be broken like this. And there should be a linting test as well. There should be a Docker file. There should be a make file. Like all those settings you can do. So you should write that particular thing. You can take a base repo and take that as template, or you can write down in an MD file instruction that this is how my things should look like, and then make it follow that. And after that, it will not generate error. Even if it is generating error, it will not be like it will be within what can be controlled, right? So that's what I'm saying. So you generate the best practices guide. Generally, why do errors come? Because people have created a code, they didn't do unit testing on it. That's why code breaks in production. So you write down that whenever a feature is created, do a unit test. A unit test code should pass at least 80% code coverage. Similarly, functional test, right? So all those settings you need to do uh, so that it follows like incrementally step by step, and you will not face errors. Even if you get something later on, that is something very fixable. That will not be a major bug.
Because in my company, we follow agile practices actually. So we go in assumptions and we do the task.
So
Sometimes
that
they
is
say
wrong,
we
right?
like this.
Like I also follow agile. Like we also used to do this way only. Like every team working on different method. Recently, only like why I'm working on this platform is to standardize how projects are created inside my company. Like how agents are created, how any MCP server is created, how any data pipeline is created, right? So all need to follow a certain particular threshold. Not threshold, a template, I would say. That these steps should be there. That every repository should tick. So
Okay.
if you can do that, like if you can pitch this idea inside your company. In my company, things were like that only. I pitched this idea, it started. Now we have started working on it. Now, like what you can do, if you think no, this cannot be possible, then you need to add a reviewer file here as well, where you prompt it back that okay, what are the major errors, reread it and fix them. Something like that you can do. That will happen. Like you'll have to add a best practice guide here, or an error reading file which can read the errors in that particular code repository and fix them. Something like that you can do. But I will recommend the first.
So you would say first, I should go through the best practices
You should
that
go through the
is
first
followed.
best practices. That is something you can standardize things inside your organization. That's like not just one project. If it's just one project, you can take and run Claude Code and fix it, right? Main thing is you want to standardize that every code that is coming out of developers, it is a production grade. So there you have to define that.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. Any other question? I'm done from my end, guys. So I'll be covering a session on OpenClaw as well sometime. But it's basically an application of this. But yeah, please.
Yeah, sure. I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of next session, Satvik. So I'll also join your next session.
Sure.
It's a really great session.
Thank you.
And also
And
regarding this
right now,
context, right? Yeah.
right now we have a RAG course going on. So once that finishes, I'll surely launch because I'm occupied. Because today we didn't have the class, so I took this session in that time. But I will try to conduct it very soon. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you keep your LinkedIn profile in this group? I mean, I'll connect with you.
Yeah, I will share. Anyone? Any other question?
Yeah, this was a eye-opening session for me. I was able to see practically what the YouTube content I see. They ran 16 agents in parallel. They put it on and left and came back. Now I was able to see practically what they were doing.
Yeah, this is what goes in the background. I put my LinkedIn here, right? So that is what. So that is the future of it, as I was saying, right? Like you can automate a lot of things. This is just and trust me, I think this is just the beginning. In a lot of better approaches will definitely come in the future. Like this approach was launched in July 25. I also got to know it like very later only, not like that time. So, I mean, I think around December only I got to know about it. So I'm sure in some time, like a better, like this also will have some limitations which will improve, but that is how you like, I would say, improve in this fast way. Like this is the latest thing that has understand it, build it, see where does it fall, then a new thing will come, then learn it, then improve it, and just keep on moving. That's how you have to.
Yes, Satvi, actually, I mean, it was great. Basically, the whole session was pretty compact and full of information. And actually, I'm pretty excited to try it on from my end. I mean, I'm already working on some project on my company. I mean, it's not completely to create a end-to-end product or something like that, but on a analysis